hell is going on in professional wrestling? Welcome to the Wrestling Council. Welcome to the Wrestling Council. I'm your host, Come Up with Bob. Joining us by my good friend Hollywood Frank.
Right here, baby.
You can catch us here every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, talking about all the news in wrestling. You also follow us on social media. It's a link in the description below. And yeah, dude, what the freaking hell is going on? It's a lot of craziness this year. To this year. Yeah. Well, this year, yeah. But this week, It's like everyone and their mother lost their freaking mind and decided that they were more important than they actually are. So I don't know what the deal is. I don't know if there's something in the water, but we're going to talk about it. We're also going to talk about some crazy stuff that came out of TKO President Mark Shapiro's mouth. Technical difficulties, anything but smaller than what did I miss this week? How you doing, Johnny? Appreciate. I sent you the leak, man, but I know that you got a lot of problems going on, man. I know weather up here has been causing nothing but havoc, so I imagine that you're in absolute chaos down there. But I hope you're safe, brother. We're going to talk about it. Just wait for a couple more people to trickle in here. I'm double checking, let you know, everybody else, that we are streaming off of YouTube, off of X, and now off of Facebook. So yeah, go check out all of that stuff, and hopefully we get a little bit of movement here and a little traction. But what did you watch Raw yesterday?
Yeah.
What did you think?
So you can't see me. New Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah, I've got some thoughts about that. And
it's a mixed bag yesterday.
Yeah, it was kind of, yeah, that's a good way to put it, man. It was a mixed bag. Some up, some down. I don't know if I really want to talk about Blood or Guts coming up tomorrow, because honestly, I don't really care. And I definitely don't care about the women's Blood and Guts, which I've already made my opinion on that known. I don't think it needs to be. But there's plenty of other things to talk about. Mousy said, "Sup? What's up, Mousy?" Apologies, everybody. I didn't see you there.
Sup?
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 Hello.
What's up?
What's up? Appreciate you being here, man. Make sure you're safe going home, brother.
Yeah, right.
And, well, driving home, making great time. Don't worry, I only slept through half the trip. Yeah, you know what I call that? I call that time traveling.
Yeah, I was doing a little bit of this last night on my way home.
Yeah, man, the wind was bad last night, but you were out where you were. You guys got absolutely slammed with snow.
Not too bad. I think
enough to make the roads icy.
Closer to the lake, it was up like Willoughby. I think we
got hit, but we didn't get hit that bad.
East side.
I know that, but we're on the lake, and that's the lake is weird, man.
Yeah, my car just decided to go like this, and I was just like, "Oh, let it go," and then I got back on the road.
Johnny, the faster you go, the less time you're on the road. Yay for safety! Yeah.
Yeah, if I'd have been going fast, I'd have been in somebody's front yard.
Yeah, we'll go with that. But all right, let's go ahead and get into it. Of course, we're going to start off with our favorite segment, a little something we call the good, the bad, and the ugly. It is an even number this week. So it is your boy. I'll go ahead and go solo layout.
Maldacino's got 80s weather in SoCal.
We're in the 80s weather wise, and so good Lord, man. Good for you. It's nothing like that here. So the good this week, couple of interesting stories came down, and I thought they were like, some much needed good news coming out. We know that there's a lot of people struggling. Ridge Holland, thankfully they created a GoFundMe for him to help him meet his bills and everything. Of course, he was injured at a TNA joint show with NXT, and subsequently got cut after that. And then I guess apparently he was about to lose his mortgage, and that's why he made that comment. And then WWE decided to make an example out of him, and they fired him.
Yep.
They cut him loose completely. Now I understand they're still going to pay for the surgery and the rehab, but everything else he's kind of on the hook for. So it's that's rough. That's a rough thing. And considering at a time when WWE is making more money than they've ever made in their history, you would think, maybe a little more reciprocity there, but nope. It is what it is. But a lot of wrestlers came forward, including many of them that made pledges that were monthly until he's back on his feet. So then enough to take care of his family and to move forward from that. So glad to hear that. But another big story, Mick Foley put out some information that Mick Foley, obviously, because of the damage he's done to his body over the years, he's been struggling, and he recently went in for hip replacement and knee replacement surgery, and he put out a new tweet saying that he has a new lease on life after those surgeries, and dropping over 90 pounds. Which that's always going to help. He's always been up around, like three in the 300s, 350. He kind of ballooned up to about 365, 370. And he says now he's down to about 275. So for a guy his size, that's pretty good.
Yeah. And
so a little bit of good news for him. Glad to hear it. And yeah, man, seeing these guys have a good life after the ring, that's always a plus. So appreciate that's a good thing, especially somebody that absolutely put their body through hell. So the bad, and we're going to touch on this. Like I said, this is another one of the stories. TKO head thinks WWE needs to be moving past Vince McMahon created PLEs. That's kind of ominous coming from the president of TKO, because we've already seen the effect that they've had on WWE, and it hasn't all been great, and some of it's been absolutely terrible. This is the same guy that is this is the same guy that's responsible for the massive ticket hike. And also the desire to go to 2 days. For right now, it's only the big four, but eventually we know, and we'll talk more about what this means. But I think what this means is they're going to do a lot more of that kind of thing going forward, which I am not a fan of this. So ominous words from the president of TKO. As TKO continues more and more to push further and further into WWE creative, and it's a mixed bag. And the ugly. This is another one of the top stories we're going to talk about. Nixon Newell, formerly Tegan Knox, says there's no bad blood on either side following AEW Collision walkout. Yeah, bullshit. As we know, there was that's one of the big stories this week is they got tapped to have a match on in AEW, their second match there. And they decided, you know what? We don't like the fact that we're only going to get 3 minutes, so we're leaving after, signing up for it. So, and yeah, that's, we're going to talk about that. I don't know what side everybody else falls on it. I'm kind of falling on the side of, you do your job and then you leave. Okay. If you have a problem with it, you talk about it later. And then a lot of people have come out and made their opinions known, and most of it is not on their side. So that's and there's more than that. So, but that was the big one, and we will talk about that going forward. So
Yeah.
EBU, what you got, Frank?
The good. Let's see. It was nice to see this yesterday. Find it.
Sharing something for us.
Yeah, it was nice to see this.
War games of war games. War games. War games.
Yeah, I love that guy, man. I really wish he'd stayed in AEW because I think he would have been a very positive force over there. But I get why he went back.
Yeah, seeing Steven, William, whatever Regal you want to call them, coming out and announcing that. Because that's War Games, Survivor Series style, coming soon. Can't remember the exact date, but we'll do a breakdown on that and our predictions for that before it happens. But yeah, it's nice to see William Regal out. But for the good, it was good to see somebody take the title off of Dominic, but I'm not happy that it's John Cena. Like, who cares if he's Grand Slam champion? I really don't care. But I whatever. But I do like the pairing they have in WWE with Chelsea Green and Ethan Page.
Mm-hmm.
I hopefully they do something good with that. I really I have no problem with her being U.S. champion again. If they do something with those two, that'd be great. I would love to see them. If you bring Aleister Black back and put him with Zelina Vega, you don't have Karrion Kross there anymore. But Chelsea Green and Ethan Page, I would love to see that. Hopefully that's something they do.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get that storyline going. Because they're really gonna try to do some kind of mixed tag. And I don't know who you really put them with besides those two.
Well, you and me were talking, and we were in one of the suggestions. One of the things you said they might do is Cody and Brandy.
I hope not. I really hope.
I hope not either. But
yeah, that's part of my rant there too. Maldacino, they did absolutely nothing with Julia.
Yeah.
My bad is which way do I want to go?
There's a lot of directions.
There is a lot of directions. Let's just do it. The bad is if they do what they're going to do with Julia, which they said they're going to do, and put her in the main event picture for the women's title, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But they've done absolutely nothing with her since she came up to the main roster.
Yeah, 2 title defenses in her entire reign.
Yeah, 2 title defenses. Okay. And Charlotte, Alexa Bliss had 6 or 7 title matches with their tag titles in 100 days. And you have two title matches and however many months Julia was champion. Really? You bring her up to the roster for that?
Yeah, 6 months. She was champion for 6 months, and
Like,
she had two title defenses.
Please put her in the title picture, please. She deserves it. Because my ugly, I would much rather see Julia versus Stephanie Vicor than Nikki Bella versus Stephanie Vicor. Seriously?
Especially considering what you know what they're gonna do. And like I've been seeing more and more people talk about it, and I get the feeling that you might be right.
I don't want Nikki Bella with the title. She doesn't need it. Quit rehashing these older talent, the Nikki Bellas, I'm sure at some point Trish Stratus, Lita. Quit. Just use the young talent you've got. They're going to waste. Right side, the women's knees were blown out while tag team champions for. Yeah. That's the first time that the curse has not affected one of the women.
Yeah, don't talk too quickly, man. You might cause something bad to happen.
Hey, yo,
Big Daddy, what's up, brother?
Hey, yo.
It's Mr. Learning Tree himself, Big Daddy.
Yeah.
But it's like I don't need to see these ladies and gentlemen from the past being on my TV challenging for a title.
Yeah.
It does nothing. It does nothing to elevate the talent that you have.
I agree. And I mean, you look at what Cena's doing. Cena's gonna go out and he's gonna put someone over on his way out. You know, we have, and you and I have more to say on that.
I'll say it again. It's going to be John Cena versus Gunther at Saturday Night's main event, the last show for Cena. Gunther's going to win the Intercontinental title, beat John Cena. And he's going to be Intercontinental champion again instead of being in the main event.
I really think that if they gave Cena, like if they let him decide, I really think Cena would put over somebody like young and up and coming, like someone. Because here's the thing: Gunther doesn't need the rub; he's already one of their top guys. Okay, now I don't particularly feel like they did him any justice in his first title run with that situation with him and Jay, but he's still one of their top 10 guys, right?
Yep.
You would think, and I guarantee you, Cena being who Cena is, he would want to do what they did for him. What was it? Kurt Angle? That Cena had his first big match with.
Yeah.
He would want to do what Kurt Angle did for him. He would want to put over some new guy coming up. And I think he would rather put somebody over from like NXT or something like that. If they gave him the choice.
That's the deal. I'm sure they will. Hopefully, because they sure as hell didn't give Kurt Angle a choice. They said Baron Corbin or else. Nobody.
Yeah. And that's a modern thing. That's something that I dislike. But I think Cena's at that point in his career where he would like to put somebody over on the way out, like do for someone that what they did for him on his way out. Yeah,
put yourself back up there, sir.
All right.
And then,
well, I was giving you the floor.
No, that's right. We just talked about it earlier today. The way it's looking is CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, John Cena are all going to be involved in the Survivor Series War Games match, which means your 2 world titles and your Intercontinental title will not be defended on another pay-per-view.
That's what it's looking like, and that's going to be one of Cena's. That's going to be Cena's second to the last appearance.
Yep.
Yeah, and then he'll have his match against Gunther, and that'll be it. But yeah, it's
what's the purpose of having your titles if you're not going to feature them on a pay-per-view?
I agree. And they really don't need that. They could bring Roman in to head that up instead.
Well,
they could bring dude. They've got multiple people that they could push into a Survivor Series, into a War Games match. You don't need your 2 title holders. At least have one of them defending on that show. If you're gonna have Cody in charge, then have Punk defend his title. If you're going to have Punk in charge, have Cody defend his title. One or the other. You've got 2 options, and they're not using either of them.
Nope.
So, yeah, it's freaking stupid. I agree with you. But then again, this is the modern thinking. This is the modern thinking in WWE. They can do whatever. They can do anything they want, and they're going to make money hand over fist.
Oh, of course they are.
That's all they care about.
And I did read an article that next year, I think there's going to be even more shows in Saudi Arabia.
Yep. I think they said they want to try to have at least 6.
I don't know if there's that many.
That's what I heard. I heard because right now they've got 3?
2, I thought. Maybe.
Hang on a minute. Let's see. How many shows a year does WWE do in
Saudi Arabia?
Okay. In 2025, the plan is just one event. Bull crap.
Yeah, because they had Crown Jewel in Australia.
Yeah.
And this year is almost over.
In 2025, the plan is for just one event, which is going to be the Royal Rumble.
2026.
2026. Next year, they're saying there's only going to be one next year. I call BS on that.
Crap on that.
There's going to be at least 2. And but the year that the Rumble's going to be there, it's already increased to 3, and that they'll add at least 1 more. So that'll be 4 in 2026. Saudi Arabia will host WrestleMania in 2027.
I think it'll be sooner than that, Malacito.
TKO is going to sell to Saudi in the next 5 years. I think so too. I think Saudi Arabia is going to buy TKO, and when that happens, all bets are off, man. I'll tell you, what the scenario that's really going to throw a spanner in the works is if Saudi Arabia buys Warner Discovery too. Because if they do that, then that means they now have they'll control WWE, and for at least 3 years they'll control AEW. So what are they going to do then? That's an interesting scenario. And and if that happens after their current contract is up, what does AEW do? Because I guarantee you, unless something extraordinary happens I think it's they signed for. I think they signed for. I have to remember. They signed for 4 years, and then there's an option to pick up a 5th. I think for AEW, or it might be 3, and then there's an option to pick up a 4th. That might be what it is. I can't remember which one, but if after that amount of time they look at it and they're like, we don't need both of them, then they're going to cut AEW loose. And I guarantee you, with the downturn in professional wrestling, that we're seeing, which that's another big story that's going on, is they're seeing reduction in ticket price and tickets and interest across the board, which that happens. It goes through highs and it goes through lows. AEW is not going to get another contract like the one they got from Warner Discovery in the state that they're in now. There's no way. So then what happens after that? So yeah, it's an interesting scenario, man. But yeah, I guarantee you that next year there'll be at least 3 shows, even though they only have one scheduled right now. There'll be at least one more. They're not going to have fewer shows than they had this year.
No, they're not going to do that.
And I guarantee, and the way that they want to do more of them, especially if Saudi is courting them for sale, they'll do it. They'll try to cram 3 in that year, and then the year after that there'll be 4. And eventually, from what I understand, they want to have one there every other month. Which that sounds like, in knowing TKO and some of the things that they've done in UFC and UFC pay-per-views, I guarantee you that's the kind of thing that they would do. So I don't know, man. It's gonna be rough.
Yep.
For a while, but hopefully they get things together.
And you said earlier that you thought if they get sold that Triple H will stay as the head. I think he'll be gone.
I think he'll stay as the head in the immediate future, but I think that eventually I think that sooner rather than later he'll get pushed out. I think he'll be there for maybe a year, maybe 2. If they get sold to Saudi Arabia, because Saudi Arabia likes him. But we know how the TKO board works. We're already seeing them pushing, like we're going to talk about that in a minute. We've already seen TKO push TKO. I can speak, I swear. Pushing harder and harder and further into WWE creative and how the company's run. And it's only a matter of time before they decide, you know what, we're going to take you out. We're going to put our guy in.
Yep.
And we know, that The Rock is going to have a hand in that too, because he's on the TKO board.
Of course.
So we'll see. But okay, guys, that's our GBU. Everybody that's watching here, maybe drop your GBU. What did you think was good, bad, and ugly about this week? All right, let's get into this. I want to talk about this walkout on AEW. So, Nixon Newell and her girlfriend Miranda Elise were on AEW. They had a match on Collision week before last, and which there was a little bit of controversy in that match because my name, Bob, I know speak. You shut up. And because there are some people who felt like they were sandbagging Megan Bain. And I watched that match. I don't know if they were sandbagging or if it's just unfamiliarity with working with somebody. And it could also be that. But a couple of spots, especially that one spot, it looked like Megan Bain was getting really frustrated with them. So, who knows what's going on there. So, and we may never know because I doubt we're ever going to see them on AEW television again after what happened the week after that. So they came back. They were told that they might be used in the middle of the week for a Ring of Honor show. They were not. They did not. But then they were told, hey, we'd like you guys to come back for Collision. And they showed up. They agreed. They showed up. And they found out that the show had already been planned out. And they were only given 3 minutes of time. And instead of, being like, hey, we agreed to be here. Let's go ahead and let's do our 3 minutes and then be done with it. And then talk about it afterwards. They decided, nope. And they just packed their shit and left. And Nixon Newell, aka Tegan Knox, and her girlfriend Miranda were did a stream on Twitch where they claimed they cut their promo on last week's Collision, then did their match with Megan Bane and Mashir. She denied that there was any disagreement with Bane. That's still up in the air, but since nobody else has come forward, I'm gonna say, okay, well, we'll just go ahead and table that. They were told they might be used on Wednesday for Ring of Honor, but then they were never used. She then said they went to Collision. They were told after the doors opened, and this is that means after the show has started, after the show's about to start, they would be wrestling TJ, which would but they would only have the match would only have 3-minute match. Nero felt like, considering the promo they cut the last week before, that they presented themselves as a credible tag team, no one was going to benefit from the match. So they decided collectively, and as independent wrestlers, that 3 minutes wasn't going to benefit anyone, so they just dipped.
Yep.
And they were told that there was no problem; they were free to go home. And said that she repeated that there was no bad blood on either side. However, and it wasn't because now the initial report said it was because they didn't want to lose, but it was not. It was because they wanted more time. However, multiple wrestlers, including multiple wrestlers in AEW and other promotions, have come forward and said that's bullshit. When you show up for a match, okay, and yeah, you might not, you talk, if you have an issue with the amount of time that you're having, you do your match. And then when you're done, you go have a discussion with the creative in charge. Okay. You don't just friggin' decide, I'm going to take my ball and go home. Now, even though Newell has said that she's only going to be in wrestling, she said that she decided she was only going to wrestle for 2 more years. And one of those years is already up. And so she's like, well, and since it's my last year, I want to do whatever I want. Okay, fine. But when you make a commitment, you show up and you fulfill your friggin' commitment. Then you go and you have a discussion about it. So multiple people, including wrestlers like Julia Hart and others, have come forward and said, like, when they first started, if they got any TV time at all, they were ecstatic about it. And they put their time in, they put their work in, and they got elevated up the ladder. That's how you're supposed to do it. And so basically, they're looking at these two like there's a level of entitlement from these two that is just ridiculous.
Yep.
Yeah. And like Big Daddy said, I still can't comprehend today's industry, business, talent, creative. Yeah, it's and I'm just gonna say it, man. There seems like with some wrestlers, some people in the industry, there's a level of entitlement that just doesn't fit with their status within the industry. Okay, a good example of that is Jack Perry. When Jack Perry caused the situation that led to CM Punk leaving AEW, or exacerbated the situation to the point where Punk was like, I'm done. Jack Perry was not in a position within the company to be able to do that and not look like an idiot. Okay. And I know there's a lot of AEW faithful that will, deny this. And I do agree with the fact that, Punk started the fight, which is okay. But at the same time, you got a guy out here running his mouth with arguably the biggest star in your company. And there's already drama. You don't need, like at the very least, and I know that Jack got suspended for a while. Dude, if it was me, I might have actually cut him loose after that. Like you're creating a situation because your butt hurt Bitch ass was already done. Perry was just an excuse. I do think that the writing was on the wall with Punk, but I don't think that Jack doing what he did helped the situation at all.
No, I don't think it did at all.
Because that whole thing stemmed from Jack Perry wanted to channel his inner John Moxley and wanted to go through a real plane of glass. And I've said this many times. I think, and this is something I think AEW needs to rein that crap in. I think they allow it way too much, especially Moxley. And if you don't need to be doing stuff like that, especially on TV, just on a regular television show, you don't do it. Okay. That's just my opinion. And he was told by the creative team, no, you can't do that. And instead of being like, okay, and go there, he pitched a hissy fit and tried to go over top of the creative team, which Punk was the head of the creative team on Collision. He tried to go over their head. And then that whole situation at All In was created because of that, because he didn't get his way. So, and that's not the only incident they've had with Jack Perry. There was incidents with him, between him and fans at meet and greets and whatnot, and et cetera, et cetera. And then you've got what's his name, Braun Strowman. When Braun Strowman was running around, he had some issues, but it seems like he's gotten over that. There's a lot of people in the industry now who think that they're bigger than they actually are, who think they're more important than they actually are. And here's the thing: I understand, knowing, like, if you know what you're worth, go out and get what you're worth. Okay. But at the same time, these two they weren't even main roster people. They were from NXT. Okay. They were in they were in WWE development, and they got released. Okay. You're not as big a friggin' chess piece as you think you are. And then you're going to go to a company that's willing to bring you in. And from all reports, they were talking about signing the two of them. And you shoot yourself in the foot day one.
Yeah, you had people going to bat for you to bring you in.
Yeah, there were multiple people in AEW that went to bat for them to come in and get a chance. And they did, and they got their chance, and then they basically just started pissing all over the friggin' building. Decided that they were too important and they were too big, and took their ball and went home. And the result is they're getting called out by a lot of people in the industry.
And I give Tony Khan credit for that, because you don't want that cancer in your locker room.
No, that just creates more problems. But like I said, there were multiple people. Megan Bain, I think, said something. God, there was a bunch of people.
And with that being said, and I don't know their names, so I do apologize to the two ladies who did step up and put on a match with Megan Bain and what's her name. They got a lot of credit for stepping up to the plate and doing what's right.
Yeah. And I guarantee you the fact that they were able to do that last minute like that, that's going to raise their stock.
Oh yeah.
They're going to like, you don't want that 3 minutes? We'll take it. And that's it. And like I said, Julia Hart was one of those people. She's like, do you know what I had to do to get to the place where I am now? Like she's like, I used to go out on dark and get beaten like a minute and a half. When dark was the thing. And she's like, you start where you start, and then you work, and then you build up. It's like, and again, they're not main roster talent. We're not talking about Becky Lynch or Bayley or Charlotte Flair, coming over from WWE. These are two people that were perennially stuck in NXT.
Yep.
and they cut him loose. So it stinks to me. And then we to piggyback on that, we had another walkout. Albeit this one, we don't really know the reasoning for it, and it wasn't quite as bad.
It wasn't even in the States.
It wasn't even in the United States. So Andrade El Idolo was at a show for the Crash Lucha Libre on their 14th anniversary show on November 7th. And apparently, before the match happened, he became unhappy with the situation and he left. He packed up his shit and he went home. And I'm hearing this. I'm going, what the hell is going on, man? What is in the water today? Did people just like lose their friggin' minds? Now, to his credit, before he left before his match, but he fulfilled the other duties that they asked him to do, which included signing autographs at a fan meet and greet and other meetings before he left. So he didn't completely cut and run. He didn't leave, but at the same time, you're scheduled for a match, and right before the match, you leave. That's not good. Okay. Now Andrade, obviously a much bigger star than Nixon Newell and her girlfriend. But at the same time, dude just got fired. Okay, for supposedly disciplinary issues. All right.
I thought he failed wellness.
That's one thing. One report said that he failed the wellness test. The other was said it was disciplinary. It may have been both. Who knows? You know how it is. They don't really go real deep into those things. But at the same time, I'm like, dude, when you're in a situation where he's at, and from my understanding, he is talking to a lawyer about finding a way to get through that 6 month, that
year
long clause, and he is allowed to work outside of the United States. So basically, what we know, that year long clause is basically to keep him out of AEW.
Understandable, but you have an opportunity to make money.
Yeah,
and you
and start
piss it all away
and start moving yourself forward again. And you just go, nope, I don't like that.
See ya. Viva la raza. Adios. Buenos noches.
TJ, they'll bring him back. I don't understand the mentality of that. Like every here's like, obviously I'm not a professional wrestler. I don't work in the entertainment industry. But every job I've ever had was like, when you make a commitment, you finish your commitment, and then you go talk to your boss about the problem. Okay. Now I don't like, and again, the report is that there isn't a whole lot out about, why he left or what the issue was or what have you. So it may end up being something like we wanted you to stick this up your butt, or something ridiculous or weird.
I don't know. The Warrior held up McMahon for, was it $50,000?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it may be something weird, or it may be something petty, because you also don't know the Lucha Libre. No, I don't. I know that it's very, very, very political. There's a lot of back office politics going on. Especially when it comes to like putting people over and things like that. And I know they get real testy about it at times. That's about as far as I know about the Lucha Libre scene. I know there's a lot of drama, but at the same time, it's like, bro, if nothing, this doesn't make you look good in the States and for other places where if now clearly AEW is still interested in bringing him in once this situation is resolved.
Yeah.
But if this kind of crap keeps happening, that might change. If they're like, this guy is a perennial pain in the ass, let's move on from him. So, again, like I said, we may find out that they wanted him to do something absolutely freaking ridiculous and insane, and he said no. So, but we'll see. But as it stands right now, he just basically took his ball and went home, which is not good. But and like I said, we've heard stories in the past about people doing stuff like this, and it never ends well. Never ends well. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with both these stories going forward. And we'll see. We'll find out what happens with these two. But I'm more interested in Andrade's story, honestly, than the Tegan Knox one. Because honestly, like, especially if she's serious about like only being interested in wrestling for another year, and that you're not going to get signed anywhere if they're only going to be there for a year. No point to it. So it was just, it's just like that was just like the status of the week was everybody's just walking out. Everybody's just taking their ball and going home.
Okay. All right. Moving on.
Yeah, moving on. Let's talk about what could be this show started 2 or 3 hours late and he had to cross the border to catch a flight. I don't know. It's possible. So one thing I will say is so far, Clash hasn't come out with a scathing rebuking of him or anything like that. So it could be something completely innocuous like that. You know what I mean? It's possible. It could be something legit. So we'll see. But as it stands right now, there's nothing. Nobody's saying anything. But yeah, like I said, we'll keep abreast of that story. All right, so we need to talk about this.
Blood and guts.
No, I want to talk about TKO's president.
Oh,
and then
Mark Shapiro.
Yeah. TKO president, chief operating officer Mark Shapiro thinks WWE needs to be moving past Vince McMahon created PLEs. So on the surface, that's like, okay, you don't like the name or you don't like the structure of them. Yeah. Lucha show start times are more of a suggestion than a rule. But oh crap. But from what we have seen from TKO in recent months, that statement is like, it's got me very worried. And the reason for it is it's freaking TKO. And like I said, I don't know if you guys have followed the changes and the way that they've run UFC. It's not very popular. UFC tickets basically got priced out of normal people being able to go to those kind of shows and everything. It's not good. And the way he was talking, he was talking about the work ethic of Nick Khan and Triple H, how they're always open to new ideas and ready to take on a new shot, a new risk, and a new opportunity.
Yeah, buddy.
And talking about how they created WrestlePalooza, which is the launch event for the USP deal, which did incredible well and may turn into a super franchise. And that's what they're looking at this as a franchise. And we know that one of their first moves. Yeah. Montu said, I'm okay with moving past Vince for the most part, but you're going to need better names than WrestlePalooza. Yeah, and I don't think it's so much the names and everything as it is the structure and the way that the shows are run. Appreciate you, Big Daddy. Yeah, well, trust me, man, we need it. We all need it, brother. But we've seen how, and so they can franchise these nuts. Yeah. One of the things we know is their decision to go to multiple days for multiple shows. The big four are the big ones right now. They want to go to multiple days for not just WrestleMania. They want to go multiple days for the Royal Rumble, for SummerSlam, and for Survivor Series. That's the plan going forward. They're going to do 4. They're going to do 2 days for both of those shows. And they even floated the possibility of doing 2 WrestleManias a year. And that's where I think the friggin' Saudi Arabia thing's coming in. And given that that's the way that they're heading, and also the way that they're pushing these mid month events like WrestlePalooza and Saturday Night's Main Event, what this says to me is they eventually want to go to 2 nights for every pay-per-view.
Of course.
Every pay-per-view is going to be 2 nights, which is insane. That is ridiculous because you don't need 2-night event for every single pay-per-view. I don't even like the idea of them going 2 nights for the big 4 outside of WrestleMania. WrestleMania, I could see it because WrestleMania is literally the biggest wrestling show in the world. Okay. I can understand it. Okay. If you can do Wrestle Kingdom 2 nights, you can do WrestleMania 2 nights. All right. The problem is, and I think we're already starting to see this, is you start getting diminishing returns. I think the jacking up, and I think with all of these things together, jacking up the price of the tickets, pushing to multiple nights for more than WrestleMania, and eventually pushing to multiple nights on. I think the next step is they're going to try to push multiple nights on all PLEs, and pushing a second WrestleMania, one at the beginning, because it's in March, right? So there'll be one at the beginning of the year and then one towards the end of the year. And I guarantee you the idea of that is so that they can do more shows in Saudi Arabia. That's one of the big selling points of this thing, because they make more money in Saudi Arabia than they make anywhere else.
Yeah.
They make scads of money there. And then I think the next step after that, because they're already starting to show this with shows like WrestlePalooza and Saturday Night's Main Event, is having multiple pay-per-views per month or multiple big events per month. Because Saturday Night's Main Event is kind of like a half pay-per-view. It's not really a pay-per-view. It's kind of like a half pay-per-view. But I can see them running a Saturday Night's Main Event every single month. Some point.
Possible.
And that worry, and I think, like I said, I think when you start doing that already, I think we're starting to see diminishing returns on a lot of this. And I think if they continue to push this thing like this, especially with ticket prices being what they are, and we're seeing we are seeing a softening of the industry right now. I think you're going to start. I think the diminishing returns are going to hit, and they're going to hit hard. I ain't going to lie. I'm close to going to the Padres store downtown and getting a Survivor Series T-shirt. That thing is hard. Dude, hey man, like merchandise is cool. Get your swag on, brother. But I mean, what do you think, Frank? What do you like? That's where my brain's going with this, and that's just from the track record of TKO.
Well, we already know that the big pay-per-views are going to 2 nights.
Yeah,
Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
WrestleMania's already been there.
Yeah.
Survivor Series, SummerSlam, they're already going in 2 nights.
Right.
If you're going to do this, you better put on a hell of a lot better match than WrestlePalooza.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's another thing that's been going on is some people are pointing out like that match between CM Punk and Jey Uso and how terrible that match was. They're looking at like that and they're wondering if like TKO is having effect on the way the wrestling is actually happening, like what's actually going on.
And you can't have pay-per-views where you're not going to feature your world champion in a singles match.
Yeah, especially and like we said at the beginning of the show, you've got 2 world champions. You got 2 world champions. You can still have one of them in your special stipulation match, and still have the other one in a singles match. You can defend one of your world titles on your big show. Why you're not doing that, I don't understand. You're going to put both of them in the Survivor Series match. Who's going to be like? Is it just the women's titles that are going to be defended?
I don't know if any titles are being defended.
It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. The way that they're structuring these things, but the way that they're looking at it is, as long as we're making buttloads of money, we don't care. So it's like AEW is going too far in one direction, and WWE is going too far in the other.
Yep.
And the best place to be, like usual, is somewhere in the middle. But when I heard that, him talking about that, man, immediately I just got an ominous feeling. I'm like, oh God, this is gonna get awful. You know, we're gonna get absolutely shit hammered with friggin' pay-per-view after pay-per-view after pay-per-view. And it's not, and that's gonna, not only that, but it takes the event and it makes it not matter. You know?
Yep.
If you have multiple nights for your pay-per-views every single month, you're running a double day event.
You're going to burn out the fans.
You're going to burn the fans out, man. And then if you try to run like a Saturday night's main event in between those, that's going to be even worse. And then if they do that and it fails and they start having problems with it, they're not going to blame themselves. They're going to blame whoever's in charge of creative. And that's going to be Triple H. Triple H and Nick Khan are going to be the 2 people that get hit with this. And I think, and like I said, and then if Saudi Arabia gets involved, it's just going to be even worse. But they're going to go they're going to bankrupt and burn out the audience, leaving a shallow husk of an industry. I don't know. Here's the thing, man. I don't know that WWE can go bankrupt. That you gotta understand, like AEW can go bankrupt, okay? New Japan can go bankrupt. I don't know that WWE can go bankrupt. Bankrupt, because you're talking about one of the most recognized. Forget wrestling; they are one of the most recognized brands in the world. When they put that logo up, okay, you show that logo to people who don't even know wrestling, and they're like, "Oh yeah, WWE," and then they'll start there. Hulk Hogan, The Rock, John Cena, they know who these people are. They're ingrained into pop culture,
Yep.
So I don't know that WWE. It would take multiple catastrophic events and screw ups for WWE to truly go bankrupt. Now, can they fall from the position that they're in right now? Absolutely,
Of course.
but it would take. They are making so much freaking money right now. So much. They have. Think about this. AEW got one deal for, I believe, if they get all 4 years, it's roughly $800 million. And that literally made them the number 2 most successful wrestling company in the world. WWE has multiple billion-dollar deals. Multiple billion-dollar deals with multiple corporate entities all over the world. They are making so much freaking money. It's ridiculous. They've never made this much money in their entire history. They made, according to their financials last year, they made more money last year than they have made in the entirety of WWE's existence. That's insane. So I don't know, man. Like I definitely think that they could take a hit, but I don't know. Like I said, it would take something catastrophic for WWE to go out of business, to truly go out of business.
Yeah, I just can't see that happening.
No, like I said, they would have to mess up so bad, and multiple times. But not to mention all the extra special events and counter program. Yeah, and so I'm concerned about the future of WWE as a product, not so much their future as a corporation. I think they'll survive damn near anything.
Of course.
But as far as will the product
be like a cockroach?
Yeah, is the product going to be good? No. But we'll see. But anyway, guys, I think, is there anything else you want to talk about, or
Blood and Guts?
Oh, Blood and Guts. Let me pull up Blood and Guts.
I gotcha. There's
Blood and Guts.
There's a couple of matches. There's a false count anywhere between Hangman Adam Page and Powerhouse Hobbs.
Blood and Guts. Between Page and Hobbs?
Yep.
It's going to be Page.
Of course it is.
Card.
And Ric Flair and Ricky Steamboat are set to appear at the event as well.
That's kind of cool. All right, so see, Blood and Guts match. Let's see, women's Blood and Guts. I don't care about those.
Don't care about what?
The match. I'm trying to pull up the match card. 2025 full match card. Okay, here we go. Is that it? Is there just going to be one match?
3.
There's going to be 3 matches, but there's going to be 2 Blood and Guts matches and then just one regular match.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay. Yeah, Hangman. They're not taking that belt off of Hangman Page. Although I really want them to make Hobbs look good. Hobbs is one of those young guys coming up that I really think he could be something special.
They can. I mean, give him more than like 8 minutes, please.
Yeah. Dude, at least a 15-minute, like at least a 15-minute match. Come on, put the dude over. Yes. He deserves it. All right, women's Blood and Guts match.
Yeah, here we go.
Chris Statler and their Timeless Tony Storm, Jamie Hayter, Queen Aminata. Wait, it's 6. Willow Nightingale and Harley Cameron versus Mercedes Moné, Megan Bayne, Marina Shafir, Thekla, Julia Hart, and Sky Blue. This is going to be a shit show. This kind of match is utter chaos and occasionally has like a fun spot in it, but usually they're just a friggin' mess. With the women, it's going to be even worse. Like so I have a question for you. Which one of them is going to get blood?
That's what I was going to ask you. Which one's bleeding? Tony Storm is going to bleed.
Yep. Maria Shafir is going to bleed.
Possibly Statlander. Possibly. I can see Sky Blue bleeding.
I don't know, man. I think here's the two people that I think are definitely going to get color are Tony Storm and Marina Shafir.
Yes,
because Tony's the crazy one, and Marina's the tough one. Yeah. She's the BCC one.
I could see possibly Haley Cameron getting busted open.
Now here's a question. Are any of them going to get busted open hard way? Someone, because this kind of match, someone's going to mess up a spot. And if someone messes up a spot, I'm thinking it's going to be Sky Blue. Because she's the least experienced person here.
That's why I think she can get busted open.
You think she's going to get busted open hard way?
I think so.
Oh God, I don't need to watch women bleed. For God's sake, man.
It's gonna.
Who's gonna win this friggin' shit show?
Which team or who's gonna?
Which team? Which team?
The heels are gonna win.
You think the heels are gonna win? Is Mercedes gonna be the one that gets the pin? If it were me, I would have.
If it was me, it'd be Megan Bain.
It'd be Megan Bain, yeah. And I would have her pin Tony Storm.
Yeah.
I would have Megan Bain pin Tony Storm and then build that feud up. But I get the feeling,
it's
going to be Mercedes. She's going to get the pin, and it's going to be on Statlander. What's the overrun of someone breaking their nose? Oh, in this match, it meant it's 50-50. 50-50. 50-50.
Women's matches, I'd say
30, someone's going to do something
30,
off of the
30-70 that they're not going to get busted open. 70% chance nobody's getting broken.
70% chance someone's definitely getting color. And if there's only one person getting color, it's Tony Storm.
No, there's multiple women getting color.
I just don't think it's a good idea.
They're trying to build up Megan Bain and Marina Shafir as a legitimate challenger for the tag titles.
Right. Anyway, that's my opinion. That's my prediction. Mercedes Moné pins
Statlander.
Yeah. It should be Megan Bain pinning like Tony Storm, but that's not going to happen.
No.
All right. The men's blood and guts. John Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, Pac, Wheeler Yuta, Daniel Garcia. Huh?
Death Riders.
Versus Darby Allin, Roderick Strong, Kyle O'Reilly, Orange Cassidy, and Mark Briscoe.
Oh, yay.
If it was me, it would be Mark Briscoe pinning Pac. And then you set up a feud between the two of them. Because that's money. But it ain't me. No. And it's going to be John Moxley pinning either Roderick Strong or Kyle O'Reilly. Darby Allin is going to get some crazy skateboard friggin' thing in.
Yeah.
And it's probably going to be on either Wheeler Yuta or Daniel Garcia.
Okay. So rather than saying who's going to bleed, it's easier to say who's not going to bleed.
Who's not going to bleed?
Probably the least likely is probably Orange Cassidy.
Orange Cassidy's the only. Orange Cassidy's about the Orange Cassidy and maybe Claudio.
Yeah.
Orange Cassidy and Claudio might be the only two people that come out of this without shedding their own blood. Everybody, dude, Moxley's gonna get busted open 2 minutes in.
So is Briscoe.
Moxley and Briscoe are gonna be. They're gonna be. Moxley and Briscoe might be bleeding before the freaking show before the show starts. Before the match starts, they might come out of the dressing room bleeding.
Yeah, like Bill Goldberg used to.
Yeah, they'll start a fight like before the match starts, and they'll come out already bleeding. And then the next one will be Darby Allin will be the next one. He'll be bleeding next. Either Pac or Roderick Strong will be bleeding after that. Daniel Garcia is gonna bleed from Darby Allin hitting him with like a skateboard covered in tacks or something.
And Maldacino, I see somebody in this match more likely breaking their nose.
With over on someone breaking their nose, dude. The over under someone breaking their nose in this match is like 90% possible, like a 90-10.
All right.
This match is gonna be a train wreck.
If they come out for this, is Ric Flair gonna bleed?
Here's the question: is Ric Flair gonna be like in the corner of the BCC and Ricky Steamboat in the corner of the conglomeration? And are the two of them going to start fighting? Which would probably be the most entertaining thing that could happen in this match. And then, dude, if Rick gets involved in any way, shape, or form, you know he's going to be a Crimson Mask. Day said I picked up the AEW book read today by Keith Greenberg. Should be an interesting read. Yeah, I have to check that one out.
Yeah, within the first 5 minutes, Darby Allin, Moxley, and Briscoe are going to be bleeding.
Oh yeah, yeah, dude. Like I said, Moxley and Briscoe might come out and already be bleeding before the match even starts. Like I said, the only two people that have a chance of coming out of this match without shedding their own blood is freaking Orange Cassidy and maybe Claudio. Everybody else is getting color, and they're getting color quick. But
shit sticking out of
all right, and I agree with you. It's going to be the Death Riders. I would like it to be Mark Briscoe pinning Pac and then set up a thing between them, but that's not going to happen. But all right, guys, there's our predictions for Blood and Guts. We'll find out tomorrow if we're right. Appreciate everybody who was here. Big Daddy, Maldacino,
leg kick.
Everybody that was lurking, appreciate you guys. And
anybody following on Facebook and X as well.
Yep. If you see this after it's been posted, leave a comment on whichever site you're watching it on. Leave a like, and we appreciate everything, guys.
Yeah, can't forget Johnny. Hopefully, Johnny will be able to join us here sometime.
Yeah,
soon.
Eventually, Johnny will. Once he gets his once he wakes up those two hamsters and gets some electricity back in his house. But yeah, everybody be safe. God bless, and we will talk to you guys next time. Bye.